Well, God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, there was a man of the Pharisees by the name of Nicodemus. He did not believe. Same Nicodemus came to God by night, talking about religion from the human side. He brought along his silver, diamonds, and gold to buy his way to heaven and save his soul. But God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, old Nicodemus came a running hard, said, has anybody here done seen the Lord? Want to buy some religion, what will it cost to get into heaven for my soul be lost? That my God spoke and his spoke so sweet, sounded like a shuffle of angels' feet. He said, marvel them, man, if you want to be wise, you got to believe and be baptized. Then God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, God told Nicodemus, God told Nicodemus, God said, yes, he did. He told Nicodemus, man, you must be born again. Well, old Nicodemus was taken back because God done told him about the natural fact.
All right, and it's Friday. Got a little different view today. Matt Wilson with you here. Brian is not going to be here. I can only assume he's looking for another church.
Yep.
So let's start that rumor right now. Brandon will not be here today. He lost a pup this week, and he is taking it kind of hard. So if we could keep him in our thoughts and prayers this week. They're dealing with that. And I have a special guest today, Mr. Joe Hatcher. Comes to us from NEC. And he says he's here listening to God. God wants him to, well, live the Great Commission, right, Joe?
Yep.
And we're glad to have you here today. And won't waste a whole lot of time. I'm just going to kind of kick it over to you, sir, and let you start. Now, I'm informal. I don't have plans. I'm very spontaneous and haphazard. So, I'll ask questions and figure it out as we go. How's that?
That sounds good.
All right, sir. Take off.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd have some assistance today, because the evil one, he gets really angry when I come out here and I start talking.
No, listen.
You might have to tie my hands together and start putting holy water on me, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Listen. It's good to know.
I turn red and he gets mad.
I got some microphone cords here where you can tie your hands together.
All right.
No, I wish the fellows were here too, but I guess this is how it works out.
Yeah. I've told this story a couple times. But a good friend of mine, Bob and Brian, back a long time ago, we used to go to church in Parkman there. We went on a little fishing trip at a pond or whatever, and we was in front of this hay barn, and I was wanting to tell him a story I had when I was a kid, that how I was up in this hay barn and I'd fallen off. I can't remember how old I was, 10 or 12 years old, and I had closed my eyes, and I said, oh, God, help. And I was just... When I came to, I was sitting on his tire on his tractor that was parked below, and all my adults coming running. I said, you all right? You all right? I opened my eyes. I couldn't talk because I was confused. I was really confused about what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I got off the tractor. I brushed myself off, but still I wasn't talking. I just walked off, and I could hear one of the adults say, "Hey, he's fine. He's walking. He's good."
So you probably fell 10 feet?
Yeah, 10 feet or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Oh, yeah.
And my dad, he was schizophrenic, so like he would take medication, he'd be fine. But I've heard him talk about some really crazy stuff when I was a kid. And the thought in my mind kept coming, well, you can't talk about it. Don't talk about it because you know what they're going to say. The apple don't far from the tree, and they're just gonna think you're just like your dad. You're crazy. So I didn't say anything until I met with Brian, and then that was like in my early 30s. That was the first time I ever told any human being at all.
So for 20 years, you didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I held it in.
Yeah. Huh. So you didn't share the story about falling because you felt like people would think you're crazy talking?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Did you have a good relationship with your dad?
Yeah, until I got a little older. I started chasing women around and started drinking. You know, my faith in God was 100% because I knew He caught me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I didn't know. Nobody ever told me that. You know, at that time I didn't even touch a Bible,
Yeah.
and so I didn't know how to live. You know, and just because just the way things were, I just didn't really have any life skills.
Well, all right, let me ask you this. How do you think, do you think when you fell, that's when you were saved?
I think I was given some type of a Holy Spirit. Yes.
I mean, like that's when the acknowledged Christ as your Savior, and
Yeah.
you think all that happened at one time right there.
Yeah.
Now, how did you go to church as a young boy?
I did before that.
Yeah.
My siblings, my grandmother would give us some change at Akron Baptist Temple. A bus would come around the trailer park and pick us up.
Yeah.
And I realized that they were skipping out. They were going to this candy store, taking their money and buying gum with. So eventually I started following them. But yeah, I stepped foot in the church a couple times.
Okay.
It was a really big church. Nobody paid attention to us. They just thought we were just getting off the bus going to church, you know.
That's pretty funny. Now, you said that's Akron?
Akron Baptist Temple.
What parts of Akron did you grow up in Akron or?
No, this was a place outside of Akron, a little town called Doylestown.
Oh yeah, all right. See, I went to University of Akron,
Oh,
and I
okay.
got friends in Barberton, and
Oh, I see.
I know the area.
Right.
Just to take it local.
Yeah.
No, I know where Doylestown is. All right, so you're a boy. Go to church a couple times with a few quarters, and obviously they shared with you the message of Christ, right?
The only thing I really remember is the songs they sang. You know, the God has the whole world in His hands.
Yeah.
And I did get saved. After that, I told him I wanted to get saved, and in this big, beautiful church, I went down and I got dunked in the
Okay,
water.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to put together.
Yeah.
Is at some point you have to hear the word,
Yeah.
and somebody's gotta you gotta be made aware of your choice,
Right.
and so you actually accepted Christ at the Akron Baptist Temple
Yes.
as a young child.
Yep.
But you didn't do nothing with it.
No, I didn't. I really don't think I even know what it meant
Yeah. Okay.
at the time.
Right. No, it makes a ton of sense. And really is an indictment of the modern day church and the lack of discipleship thereafter. We get everybody saved in a stadium, and then we send them all home. And then
Yeah,
we go.
that's what happened.
And then we go. We have 500 souls today, and
Yeah.
that's all they're worried about. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll brief. So fast forward, working in hay barn, 10 years old, fell, and you cried out to God.
Yep.
And that's when you knew He saved you.
Yep.
And you well, I mean, so you had 20 years before you were talking with Brian and Bob and them. What did you do with God in that period?
Well, I feel like I had the gift of the Holy Spirit because I got into drinking really bad.
Yeah.
But I was convicted by it every day. But I couldn't. It got to the point where I went like 20 years without one single day of being sober.
Yeah.
You know, I was drinking. You know, I'd go to work every day. I was dependable.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning and drinking at work and all that.
Right.
You know, I'd come home and drink 6 to 12 beers.
Yeah.
And go to work. But it got to the point where I just didn't want to do it anymore, and I didn't know how to quit. And here, the relationship. You know, by the time I had my son, and this relationship was going all wicked. You know, I had a partnership in a construction crew, and I was making pretty good money, but I just couldn't hold it together. And then we went through like framing these big, beautiful houses to just roofing to trying to install windows to building sheds because everything was just crashing.
Yeah.
There was no work.
Right.
And so
So this is like 2008, 9?
yeah, I think it was like 2007.
Okay. Yeah. That was when the housing bubble popped and all that.
Yeah.
That was a bad time for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this was probably 2006, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
And so I'd felt like God wasn't listening to me anymore. It was almost like as if Like I couldn't even work on a car. I had all these racing thoughts. I couldn't keep the bills paid. Me and her are splitting up. I'm thinking she's messing around, which she probably wasn't. I'm pretty sure she wasn't. And I'm just losing it. I see my car getting repoed, and I'm just hitting bottom. I'm gonna have to move in back with my mom. So I get up one Saturday morning. I get on the kitchen floor with the Bible, and I can't understand a word it's saying.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe God's just mad because I'm not reading the Bible, or something.
Yeah.
He's not helping me. So I can't understand it. I can't understand it. I get up from the floor. I go to the refrigerator. I start cracking beers open on a Saturday. Just hopeless, pitiful, broken.
I mean, Saturdays are okay for beer.
Yeah, but 10 o'clock in the morning.
Don't judge yourself so harshly, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so you kind of were brought. You were being brought to your knees on. You got to do something with me, Joe.
Yeah.
This is what you feel like God was telling you.
Yeah.
And you were trying to read in the Bible, which, if you just, I think if you willy-nilly open a Bible and try and read it, I think it's going to be hard to do. You got to really, that's the thing. So a lot of people say, it is famous and common. I read the Bible, but I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, if you open a book on calculus, do you think you're going to understand it as soon as you open it?
Right, exactly.
No, you got to study. There's things you got to learn. There's basics. Then there's intermediate stuff, and then there's complex thoughts and theology, right?
Yeah.
So when you open a Bible and you go, I don't understand it, well, of course you don't.
Yeah.
It's the first time you open a Bible.
Yep.
So you got to put some time in it, right?
Yep.
So were you discouraged?
Well, I started having these thoughts. I had some DUIs prior. I mean, I remember going to like Camp Burton, and all they did was I paid a bunch of money, and they had a lawyer come out and said, well, if you get a DUI next time, you call me first, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to
get out of jail free card guy?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the police station, make sure their machine's calibrated. I'm going to do this and that for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all I really got out of that. And nobody ever told me to go AA. I had no idea that I lived right across the street from the Troy Community Center.
Okay.
And they, like on Tuesday or Wednesday night, they hold an AA meeting.
Yeah.
I had no idea that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could just walk across the street.
You could walk across the street.
Me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I started having thoughts, well, maybe if I just go to the hospital and just tell them, hey, there's something wrong with me. I need help. I can't quit drinking. There's something wrong with me mentally.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, then they'll probably just kick me out, look at me like I'm retired or maybe put me in a rubber room, not even really help me at all. I don't know. So then I said, well, what if I go to jail? If I go to jail, I'll be behind bars. I'll have no choice but to get myself together. So I set out. I got in some trouble. I think I got 60 or 90 days.
You set out to purposefully go to jail?
Absolutely, I did.
Wow. Okay.
I did not. I didn't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
I just got the attention.
You need to do what you need to do to go. Yeah.
Right. So I'm in jail. Mind you, I'm really quiet.
Right. You are. You are a quiet person.
I don't feel like I belong in jail.
Right.
These people are there. They're talking loud. They're joking. And so I just pretty much stayed to myself. Stayed right in my bed.
Did you have a I might have made a mistake moment?
No, I didn't.
No, this is what you wanted.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I kept praying.
How long were you in there for?
I think it was 90 days.
Okay.
And every other day they had like this program where you go and learn about alcoholism and drugs and stuff.
Okay.
I attended that a couple times. And finally, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I got beside my bunk there, and I kind of covered up with my blanket, and I cried out to God again, and something had happened. And I'm going to try not to get emotional. But he come down, and I felt like I just had this huge hug. And I just knew something was telling me that everything was going to be all right, and he was going to take care of me. At that point, I realized the way that I was living life was totally wrong. Like, I can't control people, places, or things.
Right.
That is not my job. I am not a God. And that from that moment on, that I'm just to give it all to him, and he was going to take care of everything.
Yeah.
And he filled me up with all this love. Like, when I stood up, I just wanted to hug everybody. I didn't know what to do with it. I just, like, incredible love. Like, I had no resentments towards anybody. And I thought, well, I can't just go around and hug everybody. What's this? I'm in jail. You know what I mean? So I just kind of just dealt with it. And I dealt with all this love for a long time. And it wasn't just till recently that I found out how I can give that love away by coming out to the light and sharing my story.
Okay.
That's how he wants me to love people, to show it. He doesn't want me to come to church and start hugging on everybody.
Right.
Hugging on your wives and everything.
Yeah.
It's just to be awkward.
Yeah. No, it would be. I get that. I can see that.
Right.
So, because I remember you down at when we were at the community house, and then you moved up here with us for a little bit. You were here,
Yeah.
and then you guys moved to not Ravenna, but you moved. You
Yeah, we
moved,
moved to Ravenna for a little while. I
was it
did.
Ravenna
Anyway.
one?
Yeah.
And so it was too far of a haul because you guys were actually members of NEC, right?
No, we weren't really members until we started coming here.
Oh, right. Uh, to this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you moved. And
Yeah, then we moved to Newton Falls.
Newton
bought
Falls.
a house. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was too far. Do you?
That was just an excuse.
Okay.
I believe that was just an excuse.
Okay. And then so you guys, and I mean, it's probably what 3 years ago, about.
Yeah, so I was gone from church for a little while,
Yeah.
and he ran rampant in my life. He screwed up my finances. I hurt people, everybody around me. Everything the evil one wanted to do to me, he did.
Yeah.
And I believe God allowed him to do that
Yeah.
and get me broken again,
Yeah.
so he could lift me up and say, "No, you're gonna straighten yourself up and you're gonna tell your story."
Yeah. So you had a difficult 3 years,
Yes,
and what made you come back?
just the brokenness. Something that told me I was sitting in my office at desk at work, and Brian's name kept coming up in my head, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna text see if I still have his number." So I texted, I said, "Hey, Brian, is this still your number?" He said, "Yes, how you doing?" We started talking. I said, "I'm coming back to church,"
Yeah.
and I've been coming back ever since.
Yeah. It's been what 4 months now?
Yeah, 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you back. Good to see you again. Glad that nothing more serious happened while you were away,
Yeah.
and now you are reignited with a passion to share the gospel.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how can we kick that off?
Well, I just I want to go back to the night that he came to me and gave me a big hug and how I felt.
Okay.
Remember I had mentioned to you that I couldn't understand a word the Bible was telling me.
Yes.
Well, somebody gave me a Bible in jail, and I could actually understand what it was saying. It was almost as if I read the story before.
Okay.
It was really strange. And I mean, I didn't read the whole Bible, but I got into like Genesis.
Do you remember what you were reading?
The one that I remember the most was Joseph. Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked that story because how his brothers took him off and they were going to harm him. And,
There was some messed up stuff there.
yeah, and then something really good came out of it. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, it was really good. That was the best story I remember while I
Okay.
was in jail.
Okay.
So, anyways, this counselor that we were doing this drug and alcohol thing in there, he asked me. He says, "So how you feel about getting out next week?" I said, "I'm scared." I said, "I hate this place. I just don't want to go out there because I don't know how to I don't know how to live. I just." And he came back to me the next day. He's like, "Well, judge's gonna let you out early. You can pack your stuff. You want to go to this halfway house. It's not court ordered. You could just go there." I was like, he said, "Well, usually you're gonna be lucky because usually there's a 6 months waiting period." And I said, "Well, yeah, absolutely." So he came and got me out of jail early, and he drove me up to this place called Lake House, and I did 60 days up there.
Okay.
And I was just dealing, God, I just felt like God was with me the whole way. And then the same, when I was getting ready to leave there, I was scared. So I'm thinking, was God going to go with me? As I felt, whatever I had, I wanted to hold on to and keep it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I worked with
No, I kind of get that. Yeah, I see. I can see that being a thing,
yeah,
especially if you're like. So it sounds like you're in and out of this.
yeah.
Do you ever? So I'm trying to think of a topic to go to here. So do you ever feel like this might be a weird question, but I'm gonna do this for a point. Do you ever feel like whatever afflicted your father afflicts you at all?
No,
Okay, so you have none of that going on.
no, I don't.
Okay, was your dad a religious guy? Not really.
No, my grandmother was somewhat, but yeah, I don't remember anybody in my family really being. I think they just put us on the bus to go to Dr. Baptist Temple just to get rid of us.
So yeah, right. It was get out of our hair for a few hours.
Yeah.
What was I? I had it. Now it's gone. What I was driving at a little bit. Oh, you had said that you didn't want to share your story because you thought people would think you're crazy. So the only reason that was because you saw what your dad would do, and you're like, I don't want to look like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to come out into the light and say, hey, this is what's going on in my house.
Yeah.
I mean, why we're just here.
So you mean you didn't want to tell your whole story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's some parts. I mean, there is so much to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, we just hit the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that God did to me. One time I was hungover, and I was sitting in my work van, and I'm like, I sent the Amish kids out. They go, they know what they're doing. I'm hungover. I'm sitting there, and I see this mailman coming down the road, and he's coming. I look, and I said, well, crap, I'm parked in front of the mailbox, because he's driving up to the mailbox. I said, well, maybe I'll get lucky. He just don't have nobody to deliver here. So he pulls up, and I said, hey, don't worry about it. I'll back up. He's like, no, I'll get it. He gets out of his truck, goes by my van, puts the mail in, and drives down. He goes way down. I see him in my mirror, and all of a sudden I see the reverse lights go on. I was like, what the heck is he doing? He must have forgot a package or something. He backs all the way up to my van, looks at me, and says, if you was to die today, would you go to heaven? And I'm like, well, I read the Bible. He said, well, the Bible ain't going to get you to heaven. And he drove off.
That's awesome.
I just, things like that just happen to me all the time.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. He's half sharing the gospel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, maybe you just needed the question.
Yeah.
I mean, did you contemplate?
Oh, yeah. I was like, man, I mean,
They hit you pretty hard?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm at the end of my rope with being disobedient to God. I guarantee you that if I start coming to church, if I was to take a gummy, like a fishing trip or something,
Yeah.
I surely know if I was to go to work, I'd get hurt, or there'd be a random drug test, and I would hit my bottom again very quickly.
Yeah.
If I tell a lie, if I tell a simple lie, it's going to come out to light, and it's going to convict me.
Yeah.
If I drop
You think God's just done with letting you run around?
yeah, now it's time to step up to the plate,
Yeah.
but He's blessing me too.
No, of course.
He's blessing me
good.
with a really good life. He's getting my finances back in order, and
Good.
our marriage was almost at the end. As we were coming here to church,
Yeah.
we met with Brian in April, and we went to their house. We talked over here. We met with Dave and Marie, and it was like overnight a change.
Yeah.
We were laying in bed, and Melissa grabbed a hold of me and told me that she forgives me. And it was like the whole house was lighted up.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
And the house has been different ever since.
That's really great.
It is.
No, that's wonderful.
It is.
Well, I mean, what other? So, I was wondering, or when we started earlier, sometimes I wonder if lack of understanding and knowing who God is it leaves a void in a person's mind for like what your dad had going on for mental illness.
Yeah.
You see people who don't have it all together. We'll put it that way.
Right.
And I just wonder sometimes if that's somebody being tormented by spirits,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have that in your life? Do you feel like when you don't have God, like, do you feel darkness? Do you have anything pester you or whatever, or your life just goes to a shambles?
I feel that the evil one's after me.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. Yes.
Yeah. Well, what other stories you got?
He always came to me in the number 3 or 7 a lot.
Okay.
If I'd be struggling with something, like let's give you an example. When I was at the halfway house up in Paynesville, I think it was, I wanted to leave. I was there 3.5 months or whatever, and I wanted to leave. And the guy that was really close to me said, why don't you just give it 7 more days? And I just had this feeling like it was from God. And like a fuzzy feeling like all over my body. And yeah, a lot of things happened at Lake House, and they had told me that I was really lucky because my whole stay there was no fight and there was no people coming in with um, drugs or anything. He said, "You're really lucky because the house was just really calm, unusually calm when I was there."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was God doing that for me because He knows I needed that.
Yeah, kind of working it out for you.
Yep.
My dad asked the question, "What's wrong with your dad?" He must have jumped in late. You said he was a schizophrenic.
Yes.
Okay, all right, and it was more just context to a story. Dad, I was wondering if that was a jumping off topic. That's all.
I wanted to ask, like Brian, I had asked him a while back. I said, what caught him out to do what he does? Because God caught me when I was a kid, so my faith for God is like 100%.
Yeah.
So how is somebody that hasn't experienced that can have as much faith as I do? I mean, like you come to church every Sunday, and and Brian, he just gave his whole life to God. And he told me, I think what he told me was that he just noticed when he started following God, things got really good for him.
Yeah. Well, you hope that's the experience, right?
Yeah.
We all. So myself, I pretty much grew up in. I was born Catholic, so but my parents, we went to church every Sunday, and I still don't know how we did it, but we went to the 7 o'clock mass. I think we did. Maybe it was 8. I don't. It was the butt crack of dawn, and we went every Sunday, and I hated it. It was terrible. But my mom, real quickly, my mom and dad got saved in a ministry in Garrettsville called Lighthouse when they were 16, 17, and didn't do a whole lot with it. My mom was raised Catholic, so we became Catholic, as people used to do. You just, whoever was the church person, you went to that church, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we did the Catholic Church for a while, and I hated it. And then probably about when I was 12, we went to Burton Assembly of God. But in that time, my mom always read the Word and followed Jesus. And she tried. There was a program at the Catholic Church called the Renewal, and what it was trying to get Catholics saved in the Catholic Church. So she brought that message to me when I was a young boy, and I accepted Jesus that way. And then I know it was probably within those few years, she just saw that the Catholic Church was a dead end. And we all went to the Burton Assembly, and my dad kind of rededicated his life to the Lord. I saw my dad read the Bible every day then. We were involved with the youth program. So I kind of grew up around religion, not necessarily knowing God the whole time, but like it was a part of our family and our life. And Joe, I realize now, I guess I had a really good life as a child, and I thought everybody did, and I probably took it for granted almost, now that I know that a lot of people don't. And so that's kind of like I don't want to say I've just always done it, but that's because you know what, I almost find it harder, and I'm not trying to co-opt your interview here, but I'm trying to give you detail about me, and then
Yeah, I'm interested.
it's almost harder because you can't take it for granted. God and a role in life. You're just like, yeah, that's part of my life.
Right.
Because I've never had per se a drag to the knees moment of like, okay, this is because I'm not doing stuff right. You know what I mean? It's more day in, day out of I don't know. I feel like the Spirit's with me, and he's in my ear.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yep.
Why are we doing this? And
Yeah.
so I don't have a when I got baptized was at Matt Miller's house a few years back in his pool. Uh, I was baptized as a baby in the Catholic Church, but I never been baptized after I was saved. As you come to understand, I think, in the Protestant form, your baptism is something that you do as an adult. So
Yeah.
you're confessing your salvation before men, and you're symbolizing being cleaned, right? So you really can't do that with babies and sprinkles.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to do that.
Right.
And I said at that time, like, it's almost more difficult because the conviction of a sin in your mind. You know, I've stolen, I've lied, I've been an adulterer, I've done it all.
Right.
If we're convicted by our thoughts,
Yeah.
you know, and that's always a thing that sticks out to me. Jesus taught is like, wow, that's what helps you understand. Man is really dirty, right?
Yeah.
Through your times and through your life, where would you say on a scale of God, where man is good or man is wicked? Have you ever felt like man is inherently good, tries to do the right thing, or are you man is sinful and wicked and can do nothing on their own? Where would you put yourself in those groups?
I think men are wicked on their own.
Yeah. Have you always felt that? I know you.
Yeah.
You probably do
Yeah,
now because you
absolutely.
understand.
Right.
But have you always felt that way?
No, I don't think so. I felt like I was in control.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It ain't no wonder I drank every day.
Right.
That was a lot of work and a lot of disappointments. And
Do you felt like when that was going on? Do you feel like did you have the thought of like, you know what, tomorrow's gonna better. Tomorrow I'm gonna win.
Yep.
Is that how like
Yep.
tomorrow will be my day?
Yep.
Yeah. And it never comes.
No, it never does.
It never comes.
No, it never does. I remember sitting down, drinking a beer on the front porch, just watching all these people driving, being happy, and it seemed like they got everything together, you know, and asking God, you know, why my existence? You know, why did you even bother?
Yeah.
You know, I never thought of suicide. I just wanted him to answer me. Why did you even bother me? Just put me down here. I can't get nothing together.
Well, these are the questions of life. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a reasonable question.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know enough to give it to God.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I didn't know that he was in control to think that way.
Did he answer you?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did he answer you?
Well, he just gave me a bunch of love, like I had said.
Yeah.
And things just started changing. When I say he came
Well,
to
when
me,
you were sitting there asking him what the point is to your life,
right?
did he answer you right there?
No, he didn't. No, he did not.
So was it like years later?
It probably is within 6 months.
Okay.
About 6 months after that is when I was in jail.
Okay. So that was just before jail.
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, do you feel that
I
that's what God used to answer that question?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And I think me going to jail was the thought that he put in my head.
Okay.
I don't think that was on my own doing.
Okay. And people there in YouTube land, if you have any questions you want to ask, please go ahead and shoot them over. I am checking occasionally on our feed here, and we have 5 people watching on the black channel and 1 person watching on the white channel. So, oh, whoa. So. I don't know. My dad just said, that's the power of prayer, son. You have a mom and a dad who pray for you daily. Now you have a wonderful wife and 4 beautiful kids who need you to do that for them as we did for you. I don't know what that means for today, but yes, that is true, Dad. So anyway, so went to jail. You felt the love of God in prison.
Jail.
Were you like in Jug County?
Yeah, I was at the new jail.
Okay.
It was kind of luxury.
What?
The food was good.
Yeah.
There was plenty of room in there. One time we were downstairs, we were in Bible study.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the conversation was. They said, "Who here's been in jail?" And I did not raise my hand. I did not raise my hand. I am not going to be the only one in here that went to jail.
It's kind of a cool story. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you might as well go ahead and own it, Joe.
Yeah.
If you're like, this is what I need to do to get my life together, you might as well go ahead
It's
and own
getting
it.
easier. When I tried to tell my story, my whole face would get red. That's why I told you. That's why I
Like
was
you were embarrassed, or
No, I don't know what it is. Like my blood pressure shoots way up. I just get real red. My neck gets real patchy and red.
yeah.
And I don't know why, but I feel pretty comfortable right now.
Oh, hey, that's a
So
good thing.
maybe the devil, he flees. You keep resisting me, he flees. He doesn't want me to open my mouth.
Yeah,
He does not.
right. No, it's true. He does not want us to share the name of Jesus, right?
Right.
But when he hears the name of Jesus, he must leave.
Yep.
So you can only do good by doing that.
Yeah.
So jail, you felt the warm hug. You're like, I needed that. Went to halfway house, more warm hug. Came out of that. What happened?
Well, shortly after I started drinking again.
Like months, weeks, days?
Yeah, it was months. It was probably
Okay.
about a year.
All right.
Started drinking again.
Were you here
In
or
and out.
Parkman
In and out, probably.
when we were in Parkman?
Yeah.
Or is this when this is going on?
Yeah.
Because we moved here in 2015. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in and out with Brian. Yeah, I think meeting Brian was always meant to be. Me doing what I'm right now is where.
how
I'm
did
supposed
you
to
meet
be.
Brian?
He was out on the street. My ex, the girl that I broke up to had a child with, she moved in the trailer park next to his mom.
Oh,
And I was out there one day, and he was out, and I introduced
so
him.
you're right in Middlefield.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I wasn't staying there with her. I was just over to visit my son
I see.
and ran into Brian.
Okay, because you had mentioned that you were living in Troy,
Yeah.
across from the. Well, now it's a banquet center, right?
Yeah.
But all right. So you met Brian, and you're like, I'm gonna go check that place out.
Yeah. I think she had mentioned that she was gonna go, so I think I went with her.
Okay.
And then I would have my son every other weekend, and I would take him. He used to run around. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No, I don't. I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, I did too. I did too. I'm not very good with dates or anything.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I remember being there. It's funny because we were there 10 years or so
Yeah.
at the community house, setting up, tearing down, setting up,
Yeah.
tearing down. And I remember being there. I remember setting up and tearing down, but I don't remember specific, like a lot of detaily stuff about it.
Yeah.
So so you said you're probably in and out of the church. You were talking to Brian, and a few months go by, and you started drinking again.
Yep.
And
Same thing.
yeah,
So
life
we'll just run
life
my
goes
life.
to shambles.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm a slow learner,
Yeah,
so
we all are sometimes.
yeah. So it took me a few times around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have no urge to drink. Like, I have no urge to get high.
Good.
So yeah, I'm in a good place.
Good. No, that's awesome. So, are you gonna write a book?
No,
What are we gonna do here? What are we doing now?
I don't know. Why don't you write the book?
Well, are you thinking maybe starting a ministry or what? What do you?
I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah.
I just know, coming out and talking is getting easier. So I just want to, right now, I just want to continue to do that.
I could say like you are doing very good here, and in preparation, I watched a couple of your YouTubes, you or Facebook
Yeah.
videos. You looked a little tense.
Yeah.
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 So I would say it's getting easier.
Because I don't want to do that.
No.
That's not me. I'm just like way out of my norm.
Yeah.
I feel perfectly comfortable if I'm fishing doing a video.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But sitting there doing that, I'm very uncomfortable. But that's what he wants from me.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get a little better at it. And hopefully I won't get so tense.
Yeah. So, well, I'm trying to think like, how do we step into the present or the future? What could we talk about? Like, Is there something that you're learning or?
Well, I've been, like I said, my finances. So before Christmas, I was already coming back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been praying about God, bless my finances and all these doctor bills that I got. And I know, and I think, well, he could do that because, here I done let it happen in the first place.
Yeah.
But I was getting these thoughts in my head way before Christmas. I even got through Christmas without even using a credit card, and I have no idea how I did that.
Yeah.
And he's got me sitting down. Like, I'll think about this, and I'll sit at my desk at work. I shouldn't be. I should probably be working, but I'll run through all these numbers. I'm like, how is that going to work? And then it gets closer to pay, and I was like, I just don't understand. So I do it anyway.
Yeah.
I pay a credit card off, and somehow we manage to make it through to the next pay.
Yeah.
So we've just been continuing to do it. I told my wife, I said, don't ask no questions.
Yeah.
And what does she do next week? Well, there's a smaller credit card. We pay that one off. That way we'll have a little bit of breathing room. And I said, well, maybe you're right. So I went to work and I prayed about it. And he's like, didn't you tell your wife not to ask any questions? So I went home and I told her that. I said, yeah, don't ask me no questions. We're going to stick with the original plan. And that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's a fun part of the story.
Yeah.
How did she take it when you were like, hey, don't ask no more questions?
She was quiet.
Yeah?
She was quiet.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we're surviving. We're barely surviving. We're paying our tithes.
Yeah.
We're living. We
No.
have food in the refrigerator.
Like, what else do you need?
Right, exactly.
You got to keep rain off your head and
Yep.
food in your belly, and
Yeah.
that's the main thing. I think a lot of people forget that outside of preaching the word of God, we work so we can eat,
Yeah.
keep rain off our head, and stay clothed.
Yep.
Not not pay Netflix and whatever we buy at Walmart, and to have yard ornament of some kind of grill, or you know what we get caught up in.
Yep.
We want
fishing
these,
pools and all that good
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, and these things aren't bad. These things aren't bad to have, but when we put those things out in front of our lives as the important thing,
Yep.
then you're gonna fall on your face.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, that's really a great lesson. That's pretty cool. Nice testimony there. What else are we learning? Anything? We're doing the Exodus Bible study, so let's talk about this. What do you think about the texting Bible study thing so far?
I like it.
I kind of do too. I was a little skeptical. I don't know why, because I like dealing in text.
Yeah, me too.
With everybody else on things.
I hate talking on the phone. Some reason it drains me.
I don't mind talking on the phone. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
If you talk on the phone, you have to. I'm good. You're good. How's the weather? What are you doing? I'm good. Yeah. Nope. This is what we're up to.
Yeah.
It's always a thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now we're getting to what we want to talk about. And then I gotta go. Okay, we'll see you later. You have weekend plans, or and you're just like, okay, that was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Texting is like, what did you do with the TPS reports? Boom.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy. I've kind of enjoyed the texting Bible study. Bob, was that Bob's idea?
Yeah.
Your idea?
That was Bob's idea.
Bob's idea.
It's really good for me because even though through all this is going on, I never really got down and dug in the Bible.
Yeah.
So this is really good for me. Even though, like I said, I read the Joseph Bible in church or jail.
Right.
I didn't know who his father was.
Yeah.
I was ecstatic. I was like, holy cow, I learned that. How come I never picked up on that before?
You never made it to Exodus.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exodus just picks up where Genesis left off.
Yeah, I started talking about the 12 tribes, so I started trying to dig through and going back to Genesis and figure it out, and it was like, it popped. It was like, holy cow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So that Exodus finds us, in Egypt. Well, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Like yesterday, you were like, Exodus means to leave or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, Exodus. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, yes, Joe.
Well, I was trying to think, was that like a name or where did that exactly come from? So I had to Google it.
Well, then, then I mean, I feel like I'm skipping ahead of the movie. Maybe you're not, but the Jews leave Egypt.
Yeah.
They exit.
Exodus.
Exodus. Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other book in the Bible that it's like that? Are they
Well,
all-
like so there's First and Second Kings, like that's about kings and rulers,
yeah.
you know. But then you also have Habakkuk, and well, that gets into all that kind of stuff. What I think I find more importantly, no, Exodus definitely means that is the time when they left Egypt.
Yeah.
It was a big phase in the Israelites moving around the world, and a small part of the cycle that actually reflects your life. The Jews, the Israelites, they did good in God's eyes. They did bad. They did good. They did bad. Punished. They blessed, punished, blessed, punished.
Right.
You know, no men to order their lives, so that's where you get Ruth and some of the women of the Bible come out because there isn't a decent man to lead them, and they're in punishment. You know that their whole story as a people is almost how life goes for us individually,
Right.
if we let it, right?
Yeah.
So it's good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And you look at the people and you go, if you just would listen to what he was trying to tell you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So in a lot of ways, your life is like what's going on with the Israelites in the Bible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I have enjoyed I haven't really done a Bible. I'm not a Bible study guy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read just this part, and I've read it a few times. It'll get more interesting, I know. I'm wondering when we'll move forward to
Yeah. I don't know.
Part-
I'm waiting for the word from Bob.
yeah. see what Bob's idea is.
I
Next.
keep reading it through though.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
And it did so the thought that I put on there really was like to me when the women wouldn't kill the babies.
Yeah.
God's will always find a way to get done.
Yep.
He will use somebody or something. It will happen. And you see that through the Bible is you some people don't end up well. Some people end up in ovens, boiled in oil.
Yeah.
Surely they're going to get killed if they don't submit. Sometimes it ends up really well for them. Sometimes it ends up badly. But in the end, what God wants done, his plan always moves forward.
Yep.
No matter what we do, whether good things are happening to us or bad things are happening to us, it's in his plan.
Yep.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be happening, right?
Yep.
So I I kind of meditated on a little bit out of this first.
I struggle a little bit at work because I went to get a prayer meeting started, and I brought it up to Brian. I said, yeah, it's been in my mind to start a prayer study at work. Well, so I'm a facility manager / supervisor,
Okay.
so I emailed the head honcho there. He's a good guy. I've heard him say prayers during Christmas parties. Not here recently, but so I'm not sure if he has a Christian background or not. But I emailed him and I asked him what his thought was and if he would honor that request. And I would,
Yeah.
we could use a room that's not being used and make sure we don't interfere with. Well, it got shot down.
Okay.
So
Which isn't too surprising.
yeah. So I don't know how much I could reveal about the email that I was sent because it has a disclosure to it.
Yeah.
but-
Don't. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
cause
so-
yourself grief.
Right. It just opens a whole can of worms, and they just rather not have to deal with it.
So David Miller asks, what change has Joe made to his daily life now that he is closer to God? What does he do to keep it close?
Well, when I get up, I think about him all day. From the time I get up to the time I go to bed.
Yeah.
I try to, like yesterday, I asked Melissa. I said, "Well, grab the dogs and because I have to meditate and I have to be by myself.
Okay.
I can't have any distractions because I just can't get. I can't get intimate with him if I have any distractions. So she'll grab the dog. She'll go to her daughter's house for a couple hours, and I get sit at the table and get the Bible out,
Okay.
and I do the Bible study with you guys. I make sure I get to church.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're trying to do all the good things, all the right things to keep him in your life.
Right. I go to Brian's house every other weekend on Friday when they have their Bible study over there.
Right on.
Yeah. So.
No, that's cool. Bob says let's start chapter 2 today.
Okay.
That's fair enough, Bob. Good. We can move on.
All right.
All right. Well, cool. We're at 10:48, so we got a couple more minutes to fill here. Is there something else maybe you'd like to say that we didn't get to talk about today that you wanted to, or?
No, I'm kind of a blank at this moment.
Okay. Do you feel like we accomplished what you wanted to get done?
Absolutely, I feel good.
Good. That's awesome. And it's nice getting to know you a little bit here. And glad to see you back. You know, I other than shaking hands, this is me. I like to talk to people. I like to think I'm a people person, but I don't think that I am. And so, well, I'm more of a privacy type guy. So, like, if it's just shaking hands and saying good morning, Joe, which has pretty much been our relationship,
Right.
that's where I leave it. And I don't do the men's group a whole lot. I've come to a couple of them.
Yeah.
With my kids and whatnot, the schedule gets full.
Yeah.
But either way, anyway, I don't really get to know a lot of people like personally.
Right.
So this has been fun for me, getting to know you a little bit, know
Right.
a little bit about you. Glad God is working in your life.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can relate, but when I was out there and I was drinking and stuff, I never felt right inside. Something always seemed to be missing. But now, like where I'm at right now, I feel like I'm doing I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm whole,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people that you have a purpose. If you're out there and you're alcoholic or you're drinking or whatever, that's not what God intended it to be.
Right.
And there's a way out.
Right.
You know.
No, that's awesome. A lot of people put it that it's a God-shaped hole that
Yeah,
they
I've
were
heard
trying
that.
to fill.
Yep.
And you stuff all kinds of things in there.
Yep.
Money, sex, cars, drugs,
Yep.
whatever. People try and put in that hole, and it's not that shape. It's a God-shaped hole. You got to put Him in there.
Yep.
And then you find you don't need any of those things. Those things are not important at all.
Nope.
Yeah. So that's amazing and a blessing. And appreciate you talking today. And
Appreciate you having me.
absolutely. Thanks for coming. We started a few early, so we can end a few late, I suppose. Is there anybody else that has questions? Checking channels here. For Joe. All right. Well, if it's cool with you, I guess we'll just wrap her up.
I'm good.
And we'll be done. Then that way, we shared a lot of things, but nothing was incriminating.
Yeah.
All right. Let me.
Yeah. So Brian asked me to come on to the show, and then he ditched me. Yeah.
Oh,
So he's out,
yeah.
yeah. He's out looking for another.
He's looking
church.
for another church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Let's
absolutely is,
just
yeah.
start this rumor today.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's terrific.
Yeah. Joe, come on to the show. Oh, wait a minute. I got something to do.
Who set the date?
Well, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. Then he let me go for about a week or two, thinking everything was kosher. And he's like, "Well, I'm ditching you." But I love him. I love his whole family. I love the whole church family.
Yeah.
I
Listen,
do.
you're not going to find a better person to pray for you and care for you and want what God wants for your life to flourish and help facilitate that in your life.
Right.
Brian does whatever it takes so that God can work in your life.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that about our pastor.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he did ditch you, but I guess
Yeah.
we're going to have to let that slide.
Well, we'll let it slide for a while. I'll get him back somehow.
Yeah. Well, you come back. Listen, I'm sure we'll have you back.
Okay.
We rotate people through here, do this on a regular basis. So, all right. Without any, we'll check one more time. Oh. The title Genesis means something. Beginnings. See?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's logical.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're going to tap out. Thanks, everyone, for watching today. And we'll probably see you next week. Have a good one. Go ahead. You finish out your thought.
Well, we got an error report.